Alright, welcome back for part 2 of this episode of Hyper Rogue. I think episode 4? That kind of seems weird to me because I've recorded so many of these that I just haven't uploaded. I think in general with my recording, I end up uploading about half of what I record. But with Hyper Rogue, it's probably closer to a tenth. Just because there are so many attempts that either end before the end game, or I just don't like the quality of the commentary enough. I'm kind of now caught in a little bit of analysis paralysis right there. I was thinking about whether I wanted to go for the graveyard or finish what I've started over here, trying to get gold from the living caves. And I think the living caves are where I want to be, though now that I see this crossroads here, I'm less certain of that. And I think now that I've kind of pushed myself out into the crossroads, there's not a huge amount of point to going to hell until we've finished the graveyard, because we need dead orbs in order to be able to find our way back to the Orb of Yendor once we get the key. So I will just be focusing on getting the totems and then gathering up. I think I want at least 10 orbs before we try to get an Orb of Yendor. One of the things I believe I mentioned briefly in the previous episode that I want to do in this episode is learn a little bit better how to use orbs. Because I have generally been pretty sloppy about how I interact with them and not using them to their fullest potential. And so I'm actually thinking about maybe wanting to go into the Land of Power, though that tends to be a run-ender, so if I think probably I'll do what I generally do is, if I see a really good opportunity to go after an Orb of Yendor, I will go after it, and if I don't, then I will do other things, and maybe go into the Land of Power, and lose very quickly there. There's just so much that comes at you, and you really have to use the orbs to their very highest potential, I think, in order to be successful there. Now, I want to maybe stay near this crossroads. Yeah, I think I want to go around, get that. That should be enough to finish us off. Take the other side so that I don't run into my shadow. And then we are done with the graveyard. Though we may want to go back into the graveyard to actually look for dead orbs, but those will spawn in the crossroads as well. So we can watch out for those. Now, what do we still have? We have the grimoires that we can grab, and I think we haven't finished the living caves. I don't think we've hardly done anything in Relia. But we are pretty well kitted out to head into hell. And so I think we might as well grab 10 Demon Daisies. Even though we're not really equipped to do a Yendor quest just yet, having them available won't hurt unless it does. I mean, going into hell is a risky proposition all on its own. I don't know that we'll be able to find our way out. And it unlocks all sorts of other dangerous things, like the Cocytus, I believe, we unlock after a certain number of Demon Daisies. And then we also have the living caves that eventually we will need to return to if we want to do a Hyperstone quest. But for now, I think the best thing is to just focus on what is right in front of us. And what is right in front of us right now is that we now have 10 Demon Daisies, and we can spawn Orbs of Yendor. That Orb of Speed could be useful. I don't know if I'll be able to get back into hell now. Yeah, I can. And I can move past that. And now it will take 2 moves for the demons to actually move. 1 for them to charge up, and then 1 for them to move. So that actually let us escape pretty quickly and smoothly. Another thing I would like to do is unlock Camelot, because I don't believe that we've been there yet. Orb of Winter is not especially useful just yet. Orb of Yendor, we don't quite have what we need for it. Though there's another dead orb for us to pick up. And there's the Cicadas. We could go in there. I don't actually think I want to, because there's much more low-hanging fruit that we can go after, like finishing up the Living Caves, which we need 2 more, and I don't want to lose my place here, because that Land of Power has some promising stuff around it, and so I want to see if I can develop a strategy for how to tackle this. Now this, okay, this is an Orb of Invisibility. I was hoping that would be an Orb of Ether. Invisibility is a little less useful, so I think we will just kind of continue on around here and see if we can find an entrance. Because right now all of the entrances we're seeing are these fire paths. Orb of Shielding, not super useful. I wonder if it will let us go into... no, it won't. Won't let us go into the bonfire. Orb of Safety is not really something I want right now. Looks like we have some witches already looking at us. Yeah, every single one of these entrances is a fire. So we may want to go into one of these others. Orb of Speed could be useful. It would probably let us get into Land of Power. If I take care of the Hedgehog Warrior, and then real quick, okay, Orb of Speed, probably want to let this one time out a little more. Orb of Trickery, what does that do? This orb allows you to create illusions of yourself. Illusions are targeted by most monsters, just like yourself, Thumpers, and your friends. Each illusion takes 5 charges to create and 1 extra charge per turn. You can also click your illusion to take it away, restoring 4 charges. Okay, if you have both the Orb of Teleport and Orb of Trickery, illusion is cast first. You can then teleport on your illusion to switch places with it. You can also scroll to the desired location and then press T. Okay. So that could be useful. This Flash Witch is pretty frightening because they can hit you from far away, and then they can kind of surround you very quickly. And I don't really see a lot of stuff that's going to give us a lot more options. So this Orb of Ether will allow us to get the Orb of Trickery. And then that actually drains our Orb of Ether. That's an Orb of Storms. We can put a minion there. And then we can, let's see, Orb of Life. That will give us another minion. So we can just move over there. So that delayed this witch over here. We still have some time on the Orb of Speed, but we probably want to get another one as quickly as possible. We also would really like to get into this cabinet with the Power Stone. Power Stones are what we need in order to unlock the Hyperstone quest. So Orb of Winter lets us go through fires. Orb of Ether lets us go through cabinets. And Orb of Fire is a mess and gets us in lots of trouble. So I'm going to go for the Ether, and then I'm going to go for the Power Stone. And then my Golem destroyed the Ether Witch. Now we can use this Orb of Winter. Let's see, Orb of Invisibility, Orb of Thorns. I'm getting, like, so caught up in analysis paralysis now. There's just so much to think about. There's another Orb of Ether, so we can actually grab that, and then fight that guy. Oh. I have to get out of here. Okay. So, that did not go how I wanted it to. I had to just flee from there because my ether got all used up just walking through that one wall. And the evil golem has destroyed my golem. I do have Orb of Winter, so I can recharge my Orb of Speed and then get through the fire here. Use this Orb of Ether. Oh, that was an Orb of Speed. Okay. Well, now really what I want is just to get away from this Witch of Flash as quickly as possible. And so I'm going to cross a couple of fires. And we have plenty of time. And now it looks like there's a Witch of Speed coming after us. That will be pretty tricky. A Witch of Ether coming after us, and another Ether Witch. So I need to remember that I actually have these minions that I can place. And that will actually help me to escape a little bit more effectively. Here's 2 Orbs of Life, which is very useful, and those guys will help us out. We still have enough winter to kind of get around this way. We can't really take on that guy, but it looks like our guy fought that golem. Here's an Orb of Ether. This will let us get to this Power Stone, but there's all of a sudden a whole bunch of witches after me, and we only have 4 winter left. 3, 2, 1, 0. Fight that witch, fight that witch. Move. Fight this one, this one. Okay. We want to escape from here. And it looks like we're going to have to fight that. I was kind of hoping I could save that Orb of Flash and open up some more useful cabinets. This Orb of Teleport would be wonderful to have. Orb of Thorns, Orb of Storms. We can grab this Orb of Storms, maybe, and open up a cabinet. I don't actually know that they open up cabinets, but we may be able to... Actually, we can use this Orb of Ether to escape into Hell. And we can use this Orb of Invisibility to sneak... What? You cannot move through the Great Wall. What happened to my Ether Orb? I feel ripped off. And there's a Flash Witch coming after me. And another Ether Witch. So, actually, if I can fight this Ether Witch, she's not coming up to me. That's troubling. And I can't get to that Orb of Winter as long as she's there. So we can get a Golem on our side. And an Orb of Winter will let us escape. Why are these golems not chasing after me? I'm all out of minions. We can grab some flash. And that actually gives us a whole bunch of charges. So we could hold on to this, or we could just use it right now. Seems like a good idea. Because this Winter Witch will drop an Orb of Winter that we can then use... Ah! We have the Orb of Speed. That's why the golems were not coming after me. And that will actually let us escape. Okay! Wow! I had to go like full on into just figure stuff out. I imagine the commentary was pretty dry for that. I barely remember what I was saying because I was so concentrated on just trying to get out of there, and I actually managed it. So I am pretty satisfied. Now here is a dead cave. Dead caves are pretty interesting. And because I know that's there, I actually want to go into this living cave and see if I can find a troll and get it to aggro. And then get it to follow us, basically, over to this dead cave. And I'm not sure... It looks like these are all blocked off. Let's see, Orb of Invisibility doesn't do anything for me. So I want to find an entrance, and here is one right here. So I want to lure this troll in, and then kill it, and I get the achievement Lifebringer, bring life into the dead caves. And then we kind of have to run a little bit, because everything is going to be changing and moving around, and it's very easy to get trapped in here, but it looks like we managed to do it. So yeah, if you kill a rock troll in the dead caves, it turns it into a living cave, which I think is pretty cool. Now I just need to get out of here in one piece, which is a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. I thought things would kind of open away from us and just let me get back out the way that I'd come in, but it ended up forming more walls than floor, and so I ended up having to run a bit. And now we do actually want to get into the dead cave and collect some of the silver. That's part of the Hyperstone quest. But I'm really anxious to try and find the last few dead orbs that we need to do a Yendor quest. And so I'm kind of inclined to do that instead. Let's see, what's this? That's an Orb of Speed. Nice having this golem around to kind of be our bodyguard. This is Dead Orb, so we'll need one of those. So, here's what I remember about the Yendor quest, is the key spawns with the number 95 on it, and every time you get a tile closer, that number goes down. But when that number reaches 0, that's not when you actually get to the Orb of Yendor. That's when you just get onto the same screen as the key, not the orb. And so we're going to need to go probably 100 or 105 steps. And I feel like I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like I can't see more than 7 steps away. So let's wait for our golem to catch up with us. Let's see, Orb of Speed, Orb of Life. We could have even more golems following us around, which could be useful, but with this Orb of Speed, we're now going to be leaving them in the dust. There's another dead orb. So I think having like 10 or 20 dead orbs is what we're going to need, because we just have so much distance that we need to cover. So probably we should go into the, let's see, probably should go into the graveyard, because that's where they spawn natively. Don't have what I need to activate that Orb of Yendor yet, so it's not really worthwhile. So we may want to just look for a graveyard and head into that. Though now that I'm looking for one, I do not see any spawning. So I may get distracted. Ah, here's an Orb of Invisibility that we can use. Here's a dead orb. And then we can head into this graveyard and hopefully come across lots and lots of dead orbs, though I'm not really seeing many more than what we saw in the Crossroads. I don't really understand how the Orb of Invisibility works. I don't understand all of the rules for it. I wonder if picking up more of these... Maybe we have to kill some monsters in the graveyard? I don't really know what it is that determines when stuff triggers, but I just realized I'm kind of playing a little bit fast and loose and not taking my time. So I should really pay attention, especially because I find it a little bit difficult to see zombies. I don't know if that's a colorblind issue or if it's just that they blend in, but I find monsters pretty hard to see around here. And now I'm kind of having a little difficulty seeing, like, timing when ghosts and non-ghosts are going to catch up with me. And that's game. So, once again, didn't really manage to get where I wanted to go. We managed to get 10 dead orbs, so we were very much on our way. And I got a little bit sloppy towards the end, so I feel like maybe I could have done something, maybe I could have done better. So, thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I do plan on keeping on until I can eventually win this game, and my hope is that eventually I will get to the point where I can start speedrunning this game, but that is very clearly a very long way off. Last time I checked, there were 9 people who had won this game, so I am not really optimistic about how long this is going to take, but also I kind of think that it taking a long time is not in any way a bad thing, because this is a really enjoyable series for me, and the only real danger is running out of things to talk about. That is kind of one thing that I was a little disappointed about this episode is, especially in the second half, I felt like I got very caught up in the tactics and was not really able to talk about anything other than what was immediately in front of my face. And I think that preparing some stuff to talk about a little bit better than I have been is something that will help with that. I would love to hear if you have any ideas of what you would like to see change in the commentary, if there's something you'd like to hear me talk about, or if you enjoy hearing me talk about tactics, because I know that that is kind of the heart and soul of my Starseed Pilgrim series, and so I don't know if it would be better or worse to have 2 series that are really focused on tactics. I feel like there's a lot of potential here for going in a few different ways. I really do want to kind of focus more on the narrative arc of this game, and I haven't entirely figured out how to bring that out in the best way possible. But it's still something that I'm very much paying attention to. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.